So seeing how it is the holiday season, let's do a recap of my top 10 studio gear upgrades of 2021. This was a big year for me upgrading gear, and just because of you guys watching this channel and your support. You guys are freaking fantastic. Thank you to every single one of you who subscribe, watch, smash the like button, all of that stuff. So here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna start from number 10 and work our way all the way to number 1. And if you are interested in any of the gear, check the links down in the description. I'll do my best to link everything. All right, so coming in at number 10 is a piece of furniture, a sidecar leg, as they call it, from my friends over at Dangerfox. They make just my absolute favorite studio desks and sidecars. That was something that I added into the studio this year because the desk filled up very fast and I needed more space, and they came out with the beautiful sidecar rack, which just matches up perfectly. The desk I have is also made from Dangerfox. It is the 24U rack space, 3 bays, and then the sidecar just extends that rack out to the side. I'd actually love to get a second one to have that center section just come out double wide. Especially with the new room I'm in, the sides of the room go out further, so I'd be able to actually get around. That was a big problem with my last room, was it was very narrow, so the sidecars, like it was tough getting around them. But now with a wider space, I can actually get around. It's gonna look just fantastic. I've seen a lot of different studio desks from the studio tours over the past, gosh, year and a half now. By far, their desks and this sidecar have always been my favorite. All right, now coming in at number 9 is an instrument that I got this year, and this one was really fun. As you guys know, I'm a drummer. It is the drum kit that I got from WFL III Drums. The drum kit is a 3-piece kick, rack tom, floor tom, custom design by yours truly, excellently executed by WFL III and their team over there, just making high quality, beautiful drums. So shout out to them. I still remember the day that it arrived, and it was so much fun unboxing it. I'll link that here. They just sound fantastic, and I got to use that the rest of the year. And I'm very excited to see how it sounds in the new space. All right, coming in at number 8 are the Beyerdynamic M160 ribbon microphones. If you're anything like me, I'm a big sucker for ribbon microphones, and these are fantastic. They are actually super cardioid ribbon microphones, and I got 2 of them. I got these mics, I think, in February, and they just turned out to be an all-around surprise for me. They are so great for so many different purposes. I love using them on drums, but they also sound fantastic on acoustic guitar if you're looking for a warm ribbon acoustic guitar sound, or on an electric guitar if you can put it on an amp, put that thing on there. It sounds absolutely wonderful. Hi-hat, it can handle a pretty decent amount of SPL, so you can use it close mic'd or as a distant mic like I would use on my room mics on drums, overheads, I mean really anything, percussion of course. I was really impressed with them, so great job Beyerdynamic. Coming in at number 7 are the Lauten Audio. I'm gonna do 2 of their mics here because I got both of them at the same time. The LS208 and the LS308. Now they're both large diaphragm condensers. One, the 208, is more of a, let's say, front address kind of handheld style mic, and the other one has this funky side address style thing. It looks really interesting, and they both were so good. And then what's awesome about these is because they're pretty affordable and very like plug and play. Pop that LS208 in there. I love using that as, let's say, a dialogue mic. Like right now I don't really have any sort of setup, so I'm using a lav mic, but that was my favorite. Even replacing the SM7 for that purpose, it sounds so good, so clear, and the directionality, I've mentioned this before in other videos, but boy, it just doesn't pick up other noise, which is fantastic. The 308 was also fantastic as an instrument mic. I used that thing on my toms, my rack and floor tom, and it sounded amazing on electric guitar too. So shout out to them. Those are 2 very good mics at very reasonable price points. Coming in at number 6 is the SSL UF8 controller. Oh man, this one saved my life. Gosh, when did I get this, in March or April? Probably April. Man, I was working on a record, mixing with my mouse, which I've always advocated and preferred most of the time. But I don't know, maybe I just got in my head, and also they came out with this controller and I was like, man, I feel like this would help me make better decisions while I'm mixing if I just put my hand on the fader and close my eyes and use my ears. Also, I'd say the user interface on the SSL UF8 is fantastic. Just being able to grab a fader, flip it into write mode or touch mode and write it, and then flip it right back into read while you're rolling, use the transport right on the fader. I've really loved coming to just use my hands and press buttons to get things moving around and listen, and not having my mouse and keyboard be the central part of that process. Even though I do love mousing and keyboarding for, let's say, edits and a lot of other things. I'm a big quick key fan, but the UF8 was a fantastic and honestly a game changer for my studio setup. And the centerpiece of my Dangerfox desk, it looks so good. I love that you can mount it into the rack. Just great job. Coming in at number 5, very excited about this one, is the Universal Audio X16. And this was sort of the flagship for me of the interface system that I wanted, because I have had the X4, I have the X8P, and the X16 now. I'm a big fan of the Apollo X line generally. I love the DSP processing that works perfectly with their plugins, both on the front end in console and on the back end when you are mixing. Really, really powerful, offloading that processing to the interfaces. This was really the first step of me switching from a built-in mic pre setup to a outboard mic pre setup and outboard processing setup. Very, very pleased with that. I actually wouldn't mind adding one more to my setup just to keep everything set in stone, to have 16 mic pre's patched into the inputs full time, and then have another 16 that I can use to patch hardware inserts. Also, on top of the DSP, the conversion is the integration of each interface with one another and having them all just be easily routed and interchangeable. Who's the sort of master interface and how you monitor all that stuff can be controlled very easily through console. Maybe I'll do a video on that if anyone is interested. Let me know down in the comments. Okay, coming in at number 4 are 2 different products from Warm Audio that I use for one general purpose. So I'm putting them as under one number, and that is the Warm Audio Bus Comp, which is their VCA comp style stereo bus compressor, and then their EQPWA EQs. So what I did was I added 2 of the Pultec style EQPWA's EQs into the Bus Comp, and the way I use that is as an insert on my mix bus. And to be totally honest, I was, skeptical of I don't know how good this stuff's gonna be. The Bus Comp's like $600-700. How's it gonna match up to, $4,000 compressor? It does, it really does. So how you use a compressor and what you're using it on is gonna change the results in your perception of it. But using it for this purpose as my mixed bus compressor, which is the main way I'm gonna use a stereo compressor, it was amazing. I immediately liked the EQPWAs when I flipped them on, and then the Bus Comp, I actually shot out with the Neve 33609, and yes, they are different compressors, but that Warm Audio, that Bus Comp smacked. And I did a mix for a friend, and he loved it. He thought it was perfect. So both of us were stunned with how great that is. So shout out to Warm Audio. That the EQPWAs and the Bus Comp is a slammin' combo for the mix bus insert. And I'm sure if you used it on the input side or on any sort of stereo bus, it would be great too. All right, coming in at number 3 is another microphone. It is a tube mic from Mojave Audio. It is the MA300. Man, this mic sounded good. Very, very excited about this one. I actually had the chance to shoot out the MA300 and the MA200, which are essentially the same build of a microphone. There's just different functionality. The MA200 is pretty much just the body and some of the same guts, but you don't have the polar pattern accessibility, and there are no pads. So the MA300, you get the nice pad, the roll off, and the ability to have different puller patterns, and it's a variable adjustment, so you can actually go in between the puller patterns by a specific amount and just really test whatever the best setting is for how you are using that mic. And that mic sounded so good. I use it almost 100% of the time as my drum overheads now. I think it's like my favorite large diaphragm condenser overhead well, definitely the one that out of the ones that I have. Fantastic microphone, great on obviously many other applications, vocals, acoustic guitar. I'm sure it would even be good on like a bass amp or something like that. You know, it really reminds me of a 67, and as I went down the rabbit hole, I found out that it is David Royer's take on the Neumann U67. So if you don't want to spend 7 or 8 grand on a tube mic, the MA300 is a wonderful alternative. Just beautiful, high-end, awesome tube mic. So, all right, now for number 2, making a reappearance from Warm Audio. It is the 273 channel strip and the 273 EQ channel strip. Now, both of these are essentially 2-channel versions of their 73 channel strip that they do. So it is a mic pre. The 273 is just 2 mic pre's with a, but it's great because if you are just looking to level up your mic pre's, for $1,000 you can get 2 channels of these 73 clones with a high pass filter, a line trim, fan and power built in, inserts, hardware inserts built in where you can, you know, pop it in and out, bypass it. And on the front of the unit there is a instrument input. So if you're doing guitar DI or you want to plug bass or something straight into the front, you just hit that instrument button and you're ready to roll. Very functional and beautiful sounding mic pre's. These guys really nailed it. The 273 EQs are the same thing but with the EQ. So you get the high pass, the low frequency, the mid, and then the high frequency EQ, and they really surprised me because the EQ was not like, I knew the mic pre's were good. The EQs were a bonus. Really came to love the EQs on drums. Obviously I got, 10 channels, and I just use them almost permanently for drums, and then I'll keep the 10th channel open where I can flip between, you know, if I'm overdubbing something, or sometimes I'll record my dialogue mic or something through it. Great job on the build, great job on the quality, and they look just absolutely beautiful. I personally am a big fan of Warm Audio and what they're doing over there, so shout out to them, making it 2 times on this list. Very excited about that. All right, now coming in at number 1 are the Focal Trio 6 BE 3-way 8-inch studio monitors. These things are just absolutely wonderful. I've now been using them for a few months. I can't keep track of time anymore, but these things just, holy cow, did they open up the listening experience. They really took my room to another level, and I literally switched brands that I was using. Went from a 2-way to a 3-way, so easily began to just hear so much more on records that I thought I knew what they sounded like, and take the work that I'm doing in the room and still have it translate perfectly to any other listening room or set of speakers or a car or whatever. It translated just so well. And I went from having a sub to not having a sub. Now I am still waiting because of the whole chip supply, all that stuff. I don't have the sub yet. I do want to try the sub, but I haven't needed it. Like, these things go so low. They have this fantastic feature called focus mode, where you can essentially plug in a pedal switcher into the speaker, connect the 2 speakers together, and use a foot switch to turn off the sub cabinet of the 3-way, and it changes the behavior of the speaker from a 3-way to a 2-way. I don't think it's fair to compare it to an NS10 because NS10s sound awful. They have their purpose, but you can now, with the focus mode, get that purpose without the awful sound. They are very not cheap. They're certainly not entry-level speakers, and they're certainly not gonna be cheap. So if you're looking for your first set of speakers, this is probably not them. If it is, hey, congratulations. I would say if you're looking for high-end three-way, beautiful monitors, the Trio line from Vocals are absolutely just wonderful. The 11s are even bigger. They're 10-inch cones on the speaker, and then the Trio 6s are 8-inch cones, which are the ones that I got. So congratulations to all the companies who made this fantastic gear. I am so happy to have it in my setup. I'd love to hear some of your favorite gear that you got this year or that you're looking to get next year moving forward. Let me know down in the comments. I want to check that out. I have a few things that I'm looking forward to adding or, putting on my wish list at Sweetwater. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So fun getting to use this stuff and share it with you. Hopefully you guys get some value from whatever I post using this stuff. I'd really try my best to just use the gear and then just show you me using it, and you can kind of decide for yourself what you think of it. This video is me just telling you, these are my favorites, absolutely hands down. And you can get almost everything that I listed in this video down in the links below from Sweetwater. Some of them are from smaller businesses that are not available in Sweetwater, like Dangerfox. Big, great friends of mine, so support them. You can use a discount code if you want to upgrade your studio desk for $100 off your desk. Links down in the description. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun this year. I might have another couple videos coming out this month. We'll see how that goes. If you guys like this video, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. If you guys liked the videos that I put out this year, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be all of the same and hopefully more. Looking forward to hopefully starting a couple new series or whatever you want to call them in the new coming year in the new space. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.